Hey guys, so today we'll be talking about just about mental health. Today is Tuesday, so today is like my therapy day. It's probably one of the busiest days out of the week for me personally, but even more, it is my day that I go to get therapy. I do therapy via Zoom, but this morning and even last night, I was like, hey, I think I should make a video just about my choices to go to therapy, why I go to therapy, and just talk about boundaries, right? So my current therapist I've probably been going to for a little over a year, maybe even close to about a year and a half. And I have worked on so many different things over the year and a half, over this time frame that I've been with her, that has made me truly and genuinely understand and appreciate the value of self. Throughout my life, without even knowing it, I have always placed myself on the back burner. And I feel like depending on how you were raised, different things that have happened in your life, both extremely traumatic or just things in general of how we were raised, that we as individuals do things for other people. But for me personally, I've realized over the time that I have done so much for other people that I did not know who I was, did not know the things that I liked, did not know the things that I even really truly wanted to accomplish. And even the moment that I was feeling to move over to accomplish those things, I would begin to feel guilty or feel bad that things that I wanted to do for myself. And so basically, since I got laid off last year, the end of October. My official layoff was October. So like 2 or 3 months before then, I found out that I was getting laid off in October. And so I basically took a couple of months off and just did things for myself. And during that time doing things for myself, I still went to therapy, and even more, I would wake up and I would go hiking and I would just learn the things that I really like for myself. It truly and genuinely made me realize how much I have been living for other people. That, the career that I stayed in working in the airline industry was for my family, it wasn't even for me. I was unhappy. I wanted to leave. I wanted to quit so many different times, and I didn't. I moved out here, in which that worked out, that I moved out here and was able to see the things that I've been able to see and accomplish the things. But what does it mean to do things for myself? So I have now moved on, I've had a different job for about 6 months. And for me, this place that I'm at is, there's no amount of money that I could make or will make that I will exchange my happiness for. Like the moment that I am so unhappy with the thing, or I just don't want to do it anymore, I will just find something else. And I know some people are in a place where you gotta pay your bills and everything, and yes, but a few things I've learned that I am tired of working to live. I don't want to work to live. I want to be in a place that I am financially stable and secure to take time off or to not work and still know that all of my bills can be paid. And that is basically where I'm at now. And I want to continue to get there to have I have an actual number in my head that I want to get my savings account to. But even within that, I've learned that we as individuals, basically, how would I say this? We as individuals, allow our jobs, our careers, our titles to determine who we are, that we don't even know who we are without them. And that was me. I was so consumed in my career and who I was within that career to be successful, that's all that it mattered. And I was literally mentally struggling, physically struggling to go to work. It was all these different things that it was just too hard for me. And then I realized that I really had a problem, and that the greatest thing that ever happened to me was genuinely and literally getting laid off. And now that I'm here, now that I've gotten laid off and I've moved on to something completely different, and it couldn't be any more different, complete opposite on top of that, in my career field that I could ever be compared to what I used to do before. I realize just how much happiness means to me. And as I find that, which my happiness I've found, is literally photography. It's been photography, doing video vlogging and so forth like that, and being able to express myself and to show a different type of view for whatever I see, for the things and people that I even come across, because I feel like how we are raised in life, I'm gonna say I, like, for an example, I was, you never let people in your business, and you got to keep working hard so they don't say this, and you got to do this so people don't say this, you got to do this so people don't say that it makes you feel like you always have to be perfect, and you always have to be a certain type of thing, and you always have to be ABC. My thing is, I feel like I'm always 17 steps ahead. That way, if something happens, this could, these different things, I'm already prepared myself. But I feel like it's an unhealthy place to live. I've learned how to be this person based off of default, and now I am unraveling it, although that is who I am, although that is who it's been instilled in who I am as an individual. It's time to be something other than that. It's time to be able to have a free flowing voice, and that's basically where I've been at. I've been wanting to express myself, but I've been expressing myself through vlogging or through photography and doing that type of investment. And so basically I've literally given myself a couple of years to be the best version of myself, to learn photography as much as I can, to learn about videography as much as I can, and then eventually learn to do like little small short films and stuff like that, cinematography and stuff. So that's really where my passion is. And some people are like, but you need to continue working, and you need to do this, and this is the amount of money that you could be making working for the company that you could. And I know the company that I work for, I can make so much money, but I'm at a place where that I want to wake up and be happy that I am doing what I love to do. And I've learned that there's nothing wrong with people who want to clock in and work for anyone. There's nothing wrong with people who want to that find fulfillment in running a company, or being a leader in a corporate world, or in buildings and so forth like that. And that I know that I'm able to accomplish, but it's just not long-term, like 20, 30 years of where I want to be. 5 years, next couple of years, absolutely. But other than that, no. This is even more. So I was talking to someone and they said, hey, Sharina, have you ever realized, basically, long story short, this person wanted to get to know me and they had all these questions about me, but I feel like I'm a type of person, I will only allow you to know what I want you to know. Meaning, if I want you to get to know me, you get to know me. If not, I just don't really, it's not that serious to me. But I'm a person that, because it has taken me many of years to learn who I am, and to accept who I am, and accept the way that I am, and accept the way that my voice sounds, and accept the way that I look. So now I have nothing left to prove to anybody, because I've taken so much time and so many years to prove myself to people, but then I just had to prove myself to myself. And once I've accomplished that, I'm good. I know that there are growth opportunities, but still at the end of the day, I'm genuinely good. So when I see people who are struggling or really trying hard to get attention from people and to be seen, it is actually one of my biggest struggles. It's one of my struggles because I've been that person, and then it just looks crazy. It's very easy for me to point out for someone who wants attention, and it's easy to figure out where it comes from. A lot of times I can spiritually hear literally where it's coming from. And with that, I've just learned to give myself a boundary and to distance myself, because I can't afford to be around anyone who is wanting that much attention or doing anything to get someone's attention. Because when you are willing to do anything to get someone's attention, I believe, and through my own experience, you will fall harder than you could ever imagine, because your happiness is based off of someone agreeing to who you are. Your happiness is based off of being in front of someone for them to see you, and that's not where my happiness is. My happiness lies within myself, and just being truly, authentically, and 100% myself. And it's taken me so long to get to that point. So let me wrap this back. So needless to say, having a conversation, and sometimes when I'm in certain situations, I just kind of like touch and go. I just kind of look, say what I need to say, and then I move on to whatever thing, project, whatever, or moving to the next thing I just need to move on to, because I feel like the one thing you can never get back is time, right? Well, time and your words. But so I just move differently. I've learned I've had to move differently when it comes to time, because I can't get it back, and with my words, because I can't get my words back. And even more, because of the way my atmospheres have been in the past, I have learned to be very strategic with my words and to be very meaningful with my words, either side, good or bad. And so within that, I've come to a conclusion, and that I just want to be positive with my words instead of being evil or hateful or downright just like demonic, I feel like, with words. And it's anyone can cross over to it. It's just something for myself I just choose not to. So when I was in a situation and someone was literally talking to me and they're just like, you know, Sharina, if I could give you any type of advice to be successful in certain areas of your life, it would be to not shut down and shut people out. And I was like, no, I'm good. And literally kind of went back and forth, and it felt like it was supposed to be like a tug of war on it. But I just stopped. And this is why I stopped. I realized that when people are trying to say, hey, this is how you need to be, this is where I have a problem with this. Someone who is not directly in my life consistently, in a way to be there 100%, to tell me like, hey, you need to change this about you. I don't think that's positive for me. Now, if I'm downright rude, disrespectful, that's something completely different. I need to change that. But if I have this boundary set and it's for a reason, I don't think that I, in this particular situation, need to change it. This is why. It said, Sharina, you have a defense mechanism. Well, okay, you can call it that, and that's, the downright, textbook of it. But it's actually, for me, it's my boundary, and it's a safety thing, because I have allowed so many people to say so many different things to me, and you're either going to get zero response, or you're going to get fight or flight mode Sharina. And I feel like flight or flight mode Sharina is not positive. It's not positive for myself. It's not positive for the other person or anyone involved, because that one moment I'm probably going to feel attacked. And if I feel attacked and it's something that I feel like I need to respond to, it's going to be very interesting to see what my response is going to be, because I've probably already calculated how this is about to go down in my head before we even got here. So I would say it's for not physical safety. I feel like it's emotional safety for myself and for that person, because once you say words, you literally physically cannot take them back. And I feel like we are, as individuals, are so quick to just say whatever we want to say and do whatever we want to do. And then there's consequences behind them. And so I have learned in the past that people can say whatever they want to say to you. But baby, the moment that you say it back to them, or even say something that's even on that level to match their energy, people got a problem, and now they feel like they got to get you by any means necessary. And so I just don't even allow anyone to let me even get into that space, or for anyone to have that much control over me. And so that's basically my boundary. That's my boundary, where I will just get up from any type of situation and I will walk away. Now, I won't like, say we're having an actual conversation, I'm not just gonna get up and walk away, because I feel like that's downright disrespectful and rude. And if people just walk away from me, I'm gonna get annoyed. But like, say if I'm in a general vicinity of someone and they're having a conversation and I don't necessarily care about what they're saying, not like I don't care what you're saying, but I don't appreciate, or I don't want to invite myself into participating in that type of communication, or I feel like what they're saying is rude or disrespectful, I will just walk away. You're not going to say that I was part of it. You're not going to say that I was there. You're not going to say that I participated in the conversation, any of those things. And even more, if I stay there, because I know the person I am, if I see something that's wrong, I promise you I'm going to speak up for it. So before I get to a point where we become in any type of, not a physical altercation, but just like a verbal situation, and sometimes verbal can be an altercation, before I were to ever get there, I would just walk away. I would literally walk away than for me to say something and there to be a reaction, and then I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I know what's going to happen, but I don't know what's going to happen, if that makes sense. So I have literally promised, dedicated to myself without even trying, just move, Sharina, because then you don't have to be part of it. Now, if someone was in physical harm or someone's anything like that, like that's something completely different. But if it's just like a conversation, I'm not gonna participate. Because the moment that you sit there and you participate and you don't say anything, like, you are part of the problem. Like that one point, I feel like I'm part of the problem. So I just remove myself. There are certain things like people will say if they're like downright wrong or like downright racist or sexist or whatever. Sometimes I'll just be like, okay. I'll say my piece. I feel like I've dealt with a lot of alpha males, and I am a type of person that I don't ever have to prove or show to someone that I am who I am, like I said earlier. But even more, I don't have to show people that I have an alpha personality, like, at all. Like, when people find out, oh, your birthday's April 12th, so you're an Aries, you're a Ram, so that makes sense. And I just be like, does it though? It doesn't, because if you really know me, I really and truly do not bother anybody. I leave people the hell alone because I want people to leave me alone. Even more, you would never know this, I'm an introvert. I, like, when I'm off or not working or not doing photography, I'm at home, probably reading my Bible, watching something on Netflix or on YouTube, trying to learn something that I didn't already know before, trying to learn like different techniques and stuff. I enjoy my alone time. I enjoy my privacy. This is why. Because of the careers that I've had, or the career that I had, and even other things that I've done entrepreneur-wise, I'm always around so many people, so many different personalities. So it's a lot. Even more, I'm considered an empath. And for me, who is someone that is, that I see things spiritually, I basically protect myself and putting myself in certain situations or certain places, because I know that I don't want my spirit to be bothered on something. Unless God is saying, hey, Shani, you need to go there. I feel like something in my heart to go somewhere. I'm not going to, for the simple fact is, why would I put myself in a situation that I know is not going to be positive? Why would I put myself in a situation that I know is going to make my anxiety go bad, or see something that I don't need to see, both actually physically seeing or spiritually seeing? So sometimes I'm just like, I'm genuinely okay. Like, you know, they say, hey, watch the company that you keep. I really, truly am that person from the bottom of my heart, based off of all of my mistakes. So I've just learned over time, like, nah, I'm good. I'm protecting my mental health. I also struggle really hardcore with anxiety and depression. So I've learned that I feel like my depression is based off a chemical imbalance now. Before, I feel like for me to get to the point that I was, as far as my depression has been based off of life experiences that have happened and me feeling bad for myself, or have had, made really bad decisions and choosing in relationships and so forth. So because of that, it's gotten me depressed. And I feel like I've been depressed for so long, it turns into an actual chemical imbalance for me personally. So I take Wellbutrin every day, right? And so I'm working on myself basically to get to a place where I no longer have to take it, from like working out and doing different things and different mental exercises, and to be mindful of everything that I'm doing and to be living in the moment to a certain extent. Also, I deal with anxiety. I have really, really bad anxiety. I've had really, really bad anxiety. Let me say that's past tense, and this is why. The past couple of weeks, I have been trying to work on different breathing exercises and so forth, and I'm always on TikTok. I watch TikTok all the time. And I watched this person basically talk about shock therapy. And so I've heard different things about different types of shock therapy, and there are. But this one is where it's like you can get in different, like, ice cold water or hot water or so forth. So for like me, I get in extremely hot water, but I enjoy it so much, it doesn't shock my body. So the newest thing that I saw on TikTok was about ice. So literally I do ice therapy or shock therapy, basically where it's using ice to shock my body or to focus in on something different than my actual anxiety that is happening, to allow my brain to focus in on something else, to basically get a break from having this fight or flight mode. And even within that, with the fight or flight mode, right, this anxiety that I felt, I always felt like I could physically feel like this hormone, right, that's being released in my body. And I can't explain it, but I finally looked it up. There's one called, I think it's cortisol or something like that, and basically adrenaline. So like my adrenaline's going, but it's going so much that I can't calm it down, that it's overwhelming. Like I can feel it in my jaws, like in my face and everything. So basically what I've learned is to basically on meditation level, where I do breathing exercises to ground me. So for me, I'll like take my shoes off or my socks off if I'm in a place like that, if I can. And I like to physically touch the ground, and even more like sit there and just tell myself that I'm okay. And then I like literally have to hold my breath for 20 seconds or 30 seconds to allow my brain, to allow oxygen to get back to my brain. So as I hold my breath and then I release it, oxygen immediately flows to my brain to tell me that I'm okay. And I've had to get to a point that I tell myself, okay, like my therapist is really big on, Sharina, you gotta live in that moment of how you feel. But there's some times where I'm living in a moment of how I feel of something that has not even happened yet or happened in the past, that I just need to reflect on. I've reflected on it, and now I need to get better. And now I need to changing my mental focus onto something else that is positive to get me to a different place. That's where the breathing comes in. And then even more, like I try writing and stuff like that. Like I do a Bible study as well on Tuesdays, and sometimes where like maybe like 2 weeks ago I had to cancel. Yeah, 2 weeks ago I canceled because my anxiety was so bad. I physically could not get myself to get on live or get in front of a camera to have any one thing to talk about, right? And so I remember I got in the shower and I started doing this breathing technique. And as I did this breathing technique, literally I had to use the Bible verses to help me. And I've done this before, but I'm doing things a little bit different, where I'm not saying it to say it because I know it. I'm saying it because I believe it, and I'm saying it because I need God to come and help me. So literally, as I do the breathing exercises in the shower, I have to tell myself that I am okay. I have to tell myself that there is someone out here who is bigger than me, and the person who's bigger than me is God. God has placed me here for a reason. God has placed me here to accomplish something. I have been planted here. I'm here to grow. The Lord made no mistake when he created me, because he knew me before I was formed in my mother's womb. Like I literally go through these things, and like right now I'm saying it because that's what I was saying. But when I'm going through it, I believe it, I feel it, and it calms me down. And even more, the thing that it's in, we studied it. It's in Matthew chapter, I want to say Matthew chapter 6 or Matthew chapter 5. But basically it's about, don't worry about the things that happened yesterday. Don't worry about the things that are going to happen tomorrow, because each day has its own set of worries. Each day has its own set of things. And even more within that, that worrying doesn't add anything to your life. And so literally as I started getting anxious, I'm just like, you got to stop. You're worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. You're worrying about something that probably isn't going to happen. And you're worrying about something that is so far away from you that you can't even physically obtain right now. Even more, or you're worrying about something, Sharina, that happened in the past 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago that you cannot change. You cannot change the past. You can only change right now where you're at, and change things to set you up to be successful in the future in whatever way. And so as I begin to say those things, and as I begin to continue to believe those things and understand those things day in and day out, it's been changing my anxiety patterns and been changing the way my anxiety even stays. So the moment that I feel my heart or feel any part of me start to basically have that anxious feeling, those are the things that I tell myself, those are the things that I start walking through to help me to completely stop. I feel like I'm just enjoying being me, you guys. If that's one thing I could tell you, like, before I feel like I always had to dress up, and I don't say feel like, I genuinely enjoy dressing up and wearing makeup and all these things, and COVID has definitely changed those things. So I'm not worried about things that I shouldn't be worried about. I mean, like, one thing that I still do is buy tons of shoes just so I'm comfortable because I'm on my feet all day. But I wear sweatpants all the time and I'm comfortable going to the gym. I always have my boyfriend's clothes on. I do have my own pants on, but I have my boyfriend's shirt on. I think that it looks big on me because it is, like, it's off my neck and stuff like that. You can even see some of my pictures where it kind of like hangs off. I think this thing is like a 3X. Look, it's so freaking long, and I have really long arms and it's still long. So like, I'll fold it up sometimes. I'll sleep with the shirts on, all these different things. But for me, I'm being in a place where I'm more comfortable with myself. I'm comfortable with my body. I don't feel like I have to look any type of way to appease one person. Not even my boyfriend. I feel like this is one of the positive things, and this also has to do with mental health, is making sure that you're in a place to have healthy mental health, like for you to be healthy. My boyfriend is a huge advocate of mental health and huge believer in therapy and everything. It was actually one of the things when me and him were just friends. He was like, hey man, listen, you really cool, you really things, but there's some things that you got to get together and you need to go to counseling, go to therapy. And it was the greatest thing, like as a friend. At that point, it wasn't my boyfriend, just as a friend, that was the greatest thing that anyone could tell me, because it has tremendously helped me a lot. I have a Black therapist. My therapist is literally, she is like, this is the best mixture. She's like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. It's Solange, Beyonce, and Erykah Badu all put together, okay? She's so amazing. She's so dope. She's like super happy. One is so great about positive, like just being positive, being body positive, being just positive in every way, but also knowing the truth and reality and knowing, okay, you're in this place, you're in this moment, you showed up, and then now what? Like, what are the things you're gonna go through? She gives me homework assignments and stuff like that. Has genuinely helped me and allow me to grow as a human being and to grow as a woman and to grow as a Black woman. And the biggest thing for me to have a Black therapist, for me personally, just was there were some things, because I'm from Alaska, that I never really experienced in Alaska like I experienced in Texas. And just with all the things that have happened since I've been in Texas, in the world, just timing purposes, that I didn't really understand. And so she's been able to help me understand it as a woman, and to help me understand as a Black woman, as a Black person, and to help me with my thought process, and to know, Sharina, no, this is what this means, this is not what that means, and to have those things, to have that buffer. So it's been great. And for me personally, for me having a therapist that is from out here, I think she's born in Oklahoma, but she's from like basically lived in Texas for most of her life. She's able to see things differently. So for an example, like my family, if I'm talking to my family about certain things, like my family, my mom lives in Germany, but they lived in Texas. I mean, they lived in Alaska, and then like my dad lives in Alaska and so forth. So some of those certain things, the living day-to-day truth and reality is kind of different than Alaska than it is in the South. Not saying things are still not happening, but living in it, experiencing these things with certain types of people versus in Alaska is a big difference. So my therapist has been like that, like guidance for me in a lot of ways. And then my boyfriend too, from him being from New York, he's definitely experienced things a lot different. So it's just definitely been really great to have those types of people in your life and have those people in your circle. Because I want to tell you, my therapist is dope. So if you don't already, I will tell everyone, most jobs, if you have insurance, they do cover some type of therapy. Look up your benefits on your insurance. Your company probably has even some like active, I don't even know what some of them call. Some call them like active works or something like that with your company that will allow you to have therapy, sometimes 12 a year or 12 different sessions or whatever. I am blessed and thankful. I actually don't have a cap on mine. Once I hit my deductible, I basically just pay a fee no matter what. So that's extremely positive, and I'm thankful for that. So I hope you have really enjoyed it. I hope you do enjoy it. Let me know, like, what are your mental struggles? So like I told you guys, mine is dealing with anxiousness and depression. And then I will tell you this is in my past. I actually had a stronghold on me with dealing with anger and rage. I have released those things. I don't have those anymore. And I will make a video another time. Will be a whole different episode when I say I had a stronghold on me dealing with anger and rage. It is very spiritual, pretty much all spiritual. But I'll be able to explain those things to you guys in another episode, because it's definitely going to take a little bit longer to talk about, and we're already pretty much at 30 minutes. But yeah, I'll explain it later. But those are some of the things that I've dealt with in the past, and even more later when we talk about it, I'll talk to you guys about like the things I dealt with when it came to suicide, because I had dealt with suicide in my past, and things with dealing with just verbal abuse and things like that. So yeah, just leave information down in the comments. Like, what are some of the struggles that you've had dealing with mental health, and what are you doing to help yourself? What are you doing to release those things in your body so that you're not holding them in?